Welcome to the series of lectures on digital marketing and e-commerce. I am Dr. Suchita Vishwakarma, Assistant Professor and Assistant Professor of the Department of Management, School of Management Sciences, Lucknow. Students, up till now in all my previous lecture we have talked a lot about digital marketing, the importance. We had also understood that what are the kind of changes that any organization should bring about, and if an organization which is not which has yet not adopted digital technologies, then what is the way, what is the process through which they can start adopting these changes, and how they should go ahead about it. But understanding about that how a company should actually bring these changes and adopt these technologies, for that we should also understand certain basics of the technical aspects, and we should understand the very commonly used concepts like websites and keywords. So, this is what is the topic of discussion in today's lecture. We will today understand that what is a website, what is a keyword, the various kinds of websites and keywords, and what is the importance, or in which particular areas these kinds of websites or keywords can be used. So, let us proceed with today's lecture. Now, all of us have been very regularly using this particular word of website. Now, what a website word actually means? Website is basically a collection of pages on World Wide Web, which we usually denote as www, that contains specific information which was all provided by one person or entity, or traces back to one common URL. Now, for example, if I want to provide certain information about my product, my company, or maybe my own individuality. Now, for making myself available and accessible to all the people across, I should have I should have a particular page, or maybe more than page, collection of pages where I can provide all my details. And then I need to connect all these pages to one link, so that all the people across the world can use this particular link for using for accessing to my information. So, this particular link is called URL, and which is accessible to through World Wide Web. So, the commonly used commonly seen and I mean websites are example like Wikipedia, which most of you are maybe using, Google, Amazon, and many more. Now, the purpose of the website is to be digitally present. Because I want to be digitally present, I have to have a website. Now, there are various kinds of websites which we will be discussing in detail. Now, before that, let us also understand the importance of website for digital marketing. There are various importance. First is, as I said, is online presence. If I have to be online present, I have to give link to the people to access my information, and that is what is called online presence. Then platform for communication and content sharing. If I do not give the link, the people will not able to see me, access me, my informations, and probably there will be no communication. Then obviously, if I want to provide any advertisement also, maybe on my own website, or I want I want to make people aware about certain offerings of mine, then also I need to have a particular website. Then giving an idea to the customer or brand offerings. Obviously, if I want to share certain information which can help increase my public relation, or which can help increase my credibility and the trust factor among the various stakeholders, then also I need to share it digitally, and for that also I would need a website. Then providing accessibility to my products offerings, detailed about the products offerings, accessibility to all kind of informations. For that also and any company would require website. Then understanding the consumer behavior, because only through the website the consumers will be able to log in, consumers will be able to explore more about the products and services and the information of the company, and through that only the company will be able to track that who all are the people who are using their website, visiting it on a regular basis, what are the kind of information that they are looking for, how much time they are spending or so. So, understanding consumer behavior also becomes convenient because of the presence of presence on a digital platform through websites and implementing marketing strategies. Since we have already talked about that businesses nowadays are going through this transformation of adopting technologies. So, most of the companies nowadays believe on adopting marketing digital marketing strategies, and so for bringing about all that, a website is very important. Now, these are various types of websites, and these websites are basically categorized under various forms. These are the most common ones, though you can find more, but these are the most common ones, and these are basically classified on the purpose of on the basis of the purpose that they are the purpose or the areas they are catering to. Now, let us have a look on the sorry on the first kind of website, which is personal website. Now, personal website is very commonly a common form of website which in which the internet service provider provides a free space to create our own website. That means, if I as an individual, that means for a non-commercial basis, if I as an individual want to share information related to myself. For example, I want to post certain photos of mine, or I want to upload my CV, or I want to share my personal experiences or my personal diary or anything, and I want a space on the cloud, and I want to give access of such kind of information to only a few people, restricted people, that means maybe my family, my friends, and so. So, that is a provision that is available on by the internet service provider, and that particular space is also free. I can do it. I can go to the various such internet providers link, and then can upload my information. So, this is called the personal website, and this is basically for non-commercial purpose, and so the space also provided in this kind of website is less restricted, and the accessibility is also less and restricted, and there is a limited server capability, and it is not so much of search engine friendly. That means, many people will not be able to find out, even if they are typing my name also, then also there is a very limited chance that they would be able to search me, because of the restricted searchability factor that is present in such kind of websites. So, as you can see, this is a personal website where an individual can upload their CV, their photographs, their other kind of information, their personal, and there are various internet service provider like Wix. Over here I have taken the example of. So, Wix provides spaces, and you can share various kinds of things like business and service, stores, creativity, community, and blog, and any other thing like your personal portfolios, resumes, or any other kind of personal information. So, this is how a personal website looks like. Then we have another kind of website which is very common these days, and is called the photo sharing website, and many of the companies and many of the individuals are using it for sharing the photographs. For example, Flickr, Instagram, Photosite.com, Picasa, Google Picasa, etc. Over here the companies or maybe the individuals can share their photo. Over here the texting is very the texting part is very limited, and so you can share your photographs. You can attract people by the photograph itself. You can shoot your personal photographs also, and then upload it and share it to limited people. Then the third kind of website is blog. Now, what is blog? Blog is a kind of article that you usually write out of your experiences or out of your understanding or interest area. So, it is basically a content or text oriented, obviously a mix of photographs also, mixed of text and the photo the visual part also. So, blogging is something which basically may not be very much of interest to all people. Blogs are created for a specific interest area people. There are different blogs which are created by different people depending on their personal interest areas. For example, if I am an academician and I may be interested in, let us say, management studies, and I may write any blog related to management studies, or if my hobby is, let's say, painting, I may create a blog related to painting, and all those people who are related to who are interested in such areas, my interest areas, can see or view and read my experiences and my content sharing. Now, this kind of blogs are now increasing in number, and are also being used by companies to advocate and to get to promote their products as well. So, blogs can be written on various websites, and then there are also micro blogs and vlogs. Vlogs are blogs in which there are a lot of video clips. So, for example, if I have gone to a particular holiday and I had experience of certain adventurous journey, then probably I can take a video of that particular journey and then post it as a on the vlogging sites. And there are various vlogging sites in which you can do the you can post these blogs, which other people who may be interested in similar kind of activities may be interested to see, and they can share, and then they can have a they can give their feedbacks. Then this third type, which is very prominent these days, is microblog. The best example of microblog is Twitter, where it provides a platform for the people to share small text. I mean, that means there is a restriction of text of somewhere around 100 to 200 characters, or maybe to 300 characters, where you where it is basically like a short messaging concept. You message certain experience, or maybe message certain kind of, or you send a post of your small experience in a small manner, and you text it, and then people can read it and then can share their feedbacks and so. So, these are the various kinds of blogging websites are also available. There are various free blogging websites where one can go and can create his own blog and upload their blogs on a regular basis. Then there are business and corporate websites. Business and corporate websites are one which are basically made by business companies. For example, maybe any business company you can take, for example, Nike, Dell, Samsung, whatever big names that you think of. So, these are the companies where they create their own set of pages, they create their own link of pages, they create lots of pages, they link themselves, and they flood those pages with all kind of information related to their own brand, their product offerings, their services, how they work, what is their vision, what are they looking for, their employees. So, every kind of information related to that company is usually present on that. You can have a look of the product, solution, services. I have taken the example of Dell. So, over here you can have a look of, if you have gone to the website of Dell, you will this is a page that would come up, and then there are various link pages which are linked, and you can have a detailed and detailed information about all the things that the Dell wants to share with the people. Then there are e-commerce websites. E-commerce websites are those which are usually which provides you the opportunity and option to transact. That means where you can do the online payment and you can buy and sell the products. So, there are various e-commerce sites as you might be using every day, for example, Zomato, for example, Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra and whatnot. So, mainly the companies display their items, provide them accessibility, provide their customers the accessibility to read the information related to those products and services, and also buy or maybe order the products and services. They also provide opportunity to compare. So, these are the e-commerce websites. Then we have brochure websites. Brochure websites are somewhat similar to digital business cards. These are usually used by those companies which are not very big in size, and they do not want to spend a lot right now for in the websites. They are slightly conservative, and they are just to start about the digitization concept, and so they want a platform where they want to share some basic informations or some basic digital basic informations like their products or contact information and so. So, any small business person can have a brochure website where they can display some basic information. So, for example, if I have taken over here the example of a furniture related or wood related company. So, the brochure website would ideally look that if a customer is typing furniture, there would be lot of pages that would come down for all the companies who are dealing into furnitures. So, I would be seeing the different types of things of a particular company, and then I can see the basic contacts, and then obviously I will have to I can read few details, and then for further details maybe I will have to go to their offline stores, or maybe I will have to call up them. So, this is what is ideally a brochure website looks like. Then we have news websites, which is very common nowadays. Now people are moving from reading newspaper to watching the news is on the news websites. There are various news websites like NDTV, BBC, CNBC, and Aaj Tak, and everywhere, where you get informations related to all the things that are happening across every day, and you are able to see that what is happening in all kind of sectors, be it political, sports, adventures, geographic conditions, and everything. So, this is what a news website looks like. Then we have informational website. These are usually those websites where the website ends with usually .edu or .gov kind of where it is where .edu or .gov is written at the end, and where basically the companies feel that the purpose of coming on the website is just to share information. This can be used by the government, this can be used by any other organizations also. For example, over here I have taken the example of indianrail.gov. So, any person who wants to travel or wants to have information about Indian Railways can go on particular website, and this is basically for the information sharing purpose. Then we have social media websites, where you can link to your family, friends, people all around, and there are various kinds of social media websites which are available, which you might be using on an everyday basis. Then we also have educational websites. These websites are usually made by colleges, schools, universities, or any other kind of independent organizations which may be involved into educational purposes. And in these websites you can have a comparative view of the various kind of offerings that they have, and you can go through and you can even register yourself and get access to kind of informations, or you may talk to the educators over there, and then you can have. So, this is basically mix of text and videos and audios and also the pictures. So, these are again the purpose of education websites is just to share information related to education sector. Then we have content aggregator websites. These websites are basically collection of informations from various kind of web contents. These websites take the information from various kind of websites, and then make a new website, and then form a new website, and such and usually they are theme based. For example, over here if you take you see I have given the example of Money Control. Now, Money Control is one a content aggregator website which collects information related to all the financial sector, be it kind of investments, be it financial market, be it financial newses, or whatever is happening across around the country in terms of financial in terms of finances. So, there are various other content aggregator websites also, which includes Google News, which collects informations, collect newses from all across the websites related to all the country specific or maybe the world specific. The Altop, News 360, Panda, etc. Coming to the portal websites, These are the websites which are used by the organizations for giving access to informations to their internal stakeholders. Internal stakeholders, the holders, that means it may be their internal customers, the employees, their promoters, their or maybe the external customers by providing them the option of login. So, over here limited I mean there is a limited access to of information to the people, and the company can decide that what kind of information has to be shared to whom. So, this can be obviously customized also depending on the people who are using. So, this is one of the kind of website. Then we have TV and video streaming websites also, which has gained much of importance and much of relevance these days. Many of us are having access to such kind of TV and video streaming websites like Amazon, Netflix, Disney and what all, where we can have a complete it is somewhat similar to TVs, that means it is a kind of substitution to TVs, where we can watch the movies, watch the TV serials, watch the soaps as per our interest area, and they provides lot of video series. Then we have non-profit websites. Non-profit websites are those where the organization has come up and opened a website for the purpose of sharing information related to non-profitable reasons. It could be something like donations, charities, or helping someone. Then we have wiki or community website, where you allow the people to participate into website making, and where for example, the best example is Wikipedia itself, where people can collaborate and contribute towards the making of the website. Where they can edit and post their own content also, or maybe add the information also. Then we have crowdfunding, where it gives a platform to platform for raising the funds for different purposes, maybe individual or business purpose. And then we have, last but not the least, then we have the landing page. Landing page is basically a page which is a specific page type created for marketing campaigns. The intention of a landing page is to drive the customers to a particular page where they should take an action. And so, landing page basically allows the companies to increase their conversion ratio. Now, moving ahead, we would also like to know here about the keywords. And keyword is what is basically a term used in digital marketing to describe a word or a group of words which makes the searchability very easy. These can be combination of words which will help the companies which would actually help the companies to get themselves searched by the consumers. So, we have different types of keywords, short, long, and many more. So, let us have a look. The short term keywords are basically those which are usually less than 3 words, and they are of very generic in nature. For example, if I want to search an information related to MBA education, and I just simply post a keyword like management studies, or maybe management, or maybe education. So, these are very generic words. Now, the internet will be able to by writing this particular keyword, I will get information, or I will get information related to all the kinds. If I write only education, I will get information related to all kinds of in all kinds of pages that internet has on related to education, where the word education or the synonym of education has been used. So, these are basically where this is used by the companies in order to increase the search volume, because by writing such kind of keyword, lot of people will get hold on the information related to education, but then a specific company cannot be searched out. It will be very difficult to search out a specific company by writing such kind of generic keywords. There is a very high competition rate, because many companies would be competing in because of the wide or broad range of search that would be because of the short tailed keyword. Then we have long tailed keyword. Long tailed keywords are the long words or long phrases or sentences that can be used. For example, if I want to be specific about a particular search, then I may write that AKTU digital marketing and e-commerce video lecture. If I write that, then probably I would know that what is the information that I am actually looking forward and what is that I would get. So, by writing such a long phrase, I would actually get access to only those informations which are related to digital marketing and e-commerce and related to AKTU, and I would not get any other pages or informations from any other sources which are not linked to this particular phrase. So, over here the characteristics are low search volume, low competitive rate, because the competition would be less. So, very few searches will come in, but it would be very specific to what I am searching for. Then we have short term fresh keywords. Fresh keywords are basically those which are in much buzz these days. So, for example, Olympics is nowadays in buzz. So, if I write Olympics, I may get a lot of information related to if I post the keyword Olympics, I may get a lot of information now, but maybe after a month or so, when the Olympics will be over, then if I write them, then maybe I do not get so many of information. So, it is related to fresh or the much talked about words in the current scenario. So, it could be related to any movie if it has been recently launched, or any event that has been running or so. Then we have long term evergreen keywords. These keywords are those which are very commonly used in most of the eras. It is not so that it is very much in buzzword these days or so. So, for example, if you want to search anything related to environment, and environment is something which is going to sustain, it is a long term sustainable word. So, over here if you post something like environment, or maybe carbon footprints or something like this. So, this is something which has a moderate search volume, because you know that it is not something that which has been very much into search in the recent era, contrary to the fresh keyword, and there has been a medium competitive rate. The number of people who are searching this is not very high or not very low. It will be moderate for a long period of time. Then we have keywords like product defining keywords. These keywords are such which specify certain specific features of the product, and these are usually framed by companies. For example, if I am looking for example, if a company is offering a let us say a sports shoe, then they may use this particular keyword, for example, the shock absorber soles, or maybe the breathable soles. So, such kind of things. So, all those specific jargons which the companies usually use for defining their product or defining the features or the services, these are such kind of words usually come under product defining keywords. Then the customer defining keywords are those which are usually used by the customers. For example, if I am looking for a shoe, then I may write that running shoe for females, or walking shoe for female. So, such kind of words which are not very product specific, which do not define, but it probably defines my own identity or the way I look myself. So, that is what is called customer defining, and so there is a low search volume, low competitive rate, because for females obviously there will be low search. Otherwise, if I would have simply written like running shoes, then all the kind of shoes which, or maybe a sports shoe, then probably all the shoes which would be into sports category would come. But if I have written a running shoe for females, then probably only few would come up. Then geo targeting based, where the keywords are basically basically using words which have some geographical specifications. For example, Delhi based doctors, or maybe Delhi based coaching institutes. So, over here I am using a geographical area. So, all those pages in which Delhi and doctors is a combined feature, it would come up. Then we have latent semantic index keyword. These are these are those keywords which are basically close to the which are related and close to the generic keywords. For example, the generic keyword, for example, if I take it as management education. So, management education can have lot of branches to it. So, it can be BBA, it can be MPA, it can be any other also. So, latent semantic index keywords are again those which are closely related to the generic keyword, but still have their own individuality too. Then we have intent targeting keywords. These are basically those keywords in which the intentions of the customer can be found out. For example, if I am looking for writing a keyword like ways to go to a particular destination. So, all the intention is very clear that I want to find out the route or the direction, or maybe the land nearby landing area or such kind of thing. So, that is the intent targeting keyword. So, with this we have come to an end of this particular lecture series. For detailed study you can go to these references. Thank you.